Our political editor, Dennis Welch, is here in the studio tonight with more. Dennis.
Yeah, and we first reported about this earlier this month, and students involved in a pro-Palestinian demonstration were accused of throwing rocks at windows and accused of making anti-Semitic remarks. The ASU police investigation into that incident is still underway. Now, today, the 5-member state civil rights board voted to create a new subcommittee to look at hate crimes and possibly propose new laws to deal with them. According to the Anti-Defamation League, Arizona has seen a very sharp increase in anti-Semitic incidents since the start of the war in Israel last month. State Attorney General Chris Mays strongly condemned the rise in anti-Semitic and hate-based incidents. She says the state will stand up against all acts of hatred and intolerance.
We want to send a message that if you attack someone who is Jewish for being Jewish, or someone who is Muslim for being Muslim, we're going to prosecute you. If you threaten them, if you engage in violence against a community because of who they are, you will be prosecuted for that.
Representatives from ASU also spoke about the uncomfortable and at times unsafe situations its Jewish students are now facing. Other speakers from the Jewish community today say that Valley synagogues have also had to increase their security, especially since that war in the Middle East has broken out.
The state legislature reconvenes in another 6 weeks, 7 weeks or so after the start of the year. How hard would it be to pass a hate crime through our state legislature?
That's always interesting when you start talking about these hate crimes, because in general, all hate crimes at the legislature, there is an attitude among certain lawmakers that there are already laws on the books that you can prosecute under these things.
Right.
Like, let's say, an assault. If you assault somebody, the idea is, well, we already have those laws on the books, and we can prosecute under that. Actually, but hate crimes, they add extra penalties to all that kind of stuff. So that will be something that we'll see play out if that attitude on this situation still moves forward. We'll see what that is.
We've seen other states starting to tack on extra stipulations as well, so we'll see what happens here in Arizona. Thank you, Dennis.